Think all the way back to the very first chapter of One Piece, the beginning of the epic journey that we find ourselves on. This chapter introduced us to the legendary Goldie Roger and had informed us of the One Piece's existence. It had given us our first glimpse of Shanks and had acquainted us with the lovable rubber captain who would captivate audiences for decades. The chapter concludes with Luffy leaving his home ready to take the world by storm and to achieve his dream of becoming the Pirate King. However, Luffy's dream encounters an immediate setback at the beginning of chapter 2. When Luffy is shipwrecked by a sudden whirlpool. Would it surprise you to learn that we have only discovered what actually happened at the start of One Piece's second chapter, 1081 chapters later? In this video, I will be discussing the astonishing new information that we've had recently revealed, and we're going to analyze what this means for the story, and explain how it all connects to a chapter that was released over 25 years ago. Recent events in the manga have brought us a barrage of huge revelations. The Egghead Island arc alone has answered more questions and unveiled more secrets than any previous arc. As we approach the finale of One Piece, the pace is likely to increase even more. While I would love to discuss all the incredible information revealed in recent weeks' chapters, today's video will focus on a single chapter, chapter 1081, titled Kuzan, 10th Captain of the Blackbeard Pirates. For a complete breakdown of the chapter, I recommend checking out my chapter review video, but the key points of the chapter are as follows. Kuzan is now the 10th Captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, and he is determined not to let Kobe escape from Pirate Island, and he fights with Garp to prevent his escape. Kuzan's first encounter with the Blackbeard Pirates is shown in a flashback, where we learn how the former admiral joined the Yonko's crew. We learn the outcome of the battle between the Heart Pirates and the Blackbeard Pirates, with Law and his crew utterly defeated before Beppo manages to escape with his captain by forcefully activating his Suilang form via a drug that was given to him by Chopper. Now, each of these points could warrant its own dedicated video, but the part that intrigued me the most was the information that was revealed during the Kuzan Blackbeard flashback, specifically about a mysterious man marked by flames. This man marked by flames has been mentioned before quite recently. At the end of the Wano arc, as Luffy, Law and Kid had prepared to part ways, Killer mentions that they need to get serious about that guy if they want to stay ahead in the race for the One Piece. Kid reveals that the man in question is known as the man marked by flames. While Luffy has never heard of him, both Law and Robin seem to know who Kid is referring to, based on their reactions. At the time, this was merely the introduction of a mysterious yet seemingly important character in the search for the One Piece. However, Blackbeard's meeting with Kuzan showed us just how vital this man truly is. In their conversation, the Blackbeard crew explains to Kuzan that of the 4 road poneglyphs needed to find Laugh-Tale, 2 are in the possession of Big Mom and Kaido, 1 is in an unknown location later found on Zou by the Straw Hats, and 1 is in the possession of the man marked by flames. This poneglyph is likely the one that was located within Fishman Island until 20 years ago. With it in his possession, this mysterious man has suddenly become one of the most important characters in the entire world. Someone who is literally on par with Big Mom and Kaido prior to their defeat. And we now suspect that this man is none other than Monkey D. Luffy's father and the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dragon. Now, how can we be sure of this? It all starts with the description given by Blackbeard's crew. We now know 3 facts about the man marked by flames. As the name suggests, the man is presumably marked by flames in some way. The second fact, he can be found on a pitch black ship. And the third fact, anyone who sails near him ends up being swallowed by giant whirlpools, likely due to the man's devil fruit power. From these 3 facts alone, we can assemble a compelling argument that Dragon is indeed the man that everyone is searching for. One of the most compelling arguments is the mention of a pitch black ship that the man is said to sail on. However, this raises an intriguing point. In the digitally colored versions of One Piece, Dragon's ship, the Viento Granma, is depicted with a standard wooden color, except for the green dragon figure running along its length and some red trimmings. Clearly, this doesn't match the description of a pitch black ship. Nevertheless, the manga's portrayal of the ship is very different, as it appears completely black in every instance. While some might argue that this is due to the black and white medium and it doesn't necessarily indicate the ship's actual color, it begs the question of why Oda chose to illustrate the ship in this manner, when he has never done so with any other ship. Chapter 587 and 593 provide provide us with the best view of Dragon's ship. Now, with the current evidence available, excluding the possibility of an unseen ship belonging to a yet to be introduced character, all signs currently point to the Revolutionary Army's flagship, which is the pitch black ship that is in question. The next most significant aspect of this mysterious man is the way that he is referred to as the man marked by flames. There are two ways to interpret this. The first and most obvious is that the man in question has literally been marked by flame and has extensive scarring as a result of it. The second interpretation is more figurative, suggesting that marked by flame refers to a symbol like a tattoo or a brand. Assuming the second interpretation is correct, Dragon becomes a prime suspect as the mysterious man, given his unique and distinctive tattoo which covers one side of his face. This tattoo could easily be seen as a flame, albeit more abstract. However, to play devil's advocate, several other characters in the series could also fit this description. Mad Monk Uroge's arm tattoo made him a candidate, while most Shandorians and Shandians have similar markings. Furthermore, we recently learned about those who worship the sun god Nika. It's not unreasonable to assume that followers of this religion may also bear flame-like marks. Returning to the first interpretation gives us a few more characters who could potentially be the man marked by flame. Intriguingly, two of them have direct connections to Dragon. First, there's Sabo, Luffy's brother, who's been marked by flame since he was 10 years old. Since he has been associated with Dragon ever since, it would make sense if someone spotted Sabo on the Revolutionary's pitch black ship, leading to the rumor that was circulated about this mysterious man. However, this theory falters when considering that Sabo is relatively well known and has encountered at least one member of the Blackbeard Pirates, making it unlikely that they wouldn't have considered the possibility that the man that they had sought was him. The second option is former Marine Vice Admiral Jaguar D. Sol. We recently learned that Sol had survived the destruction of Ohara and is rescued by the Revolutionary Army. He now resides on Elbaf, well hidden from the world government and protected by the might of the giants. We know Sol sailed the Revolutionary ship at least until he had reached Elbaf, but how do we know if he was marked by flames? To answer that, we only need to look at Akainu. After his epic battle against Aokiji, Akainu was left with significant scars running down his neck, and these look strikingly similar to burn marks. This makes sense as extreme cold can cause burns just as fire can, and no one in the One Piece world exemplifies extreme cold more than the former Marine Admiral Aokiji. Since Sol had taken on one of Aokiji's attacks head on and had his entire body frozen, it is plausible to assume that he had suffered severe burns as a result of it. But why is any of this important to begin with? Well, what does the man marked by flames have to do with Luffy's unfortunate circumstances when setting sail from Dawn Island? Now this brings us to the final crucial point about the man who's marked by flames, which is the ability to summon whirlpools. Dragon has long been theorized to possess a devil fruit with the power to control wind and summon storms. Now these theories had first emerged after his daring rescue of Luffy in Logtown in chapter 100, where he had seemed to call forth a powerful gust of wind to hold off the attacking marines. The name of his ship Vienta Granma also supports this idea. Granma was the name of a ship used in the Cuban Revolution, while viento is the Spanish word for wind. Furthermore, in various mythologies, dragons are often associated with the ability to control elements, including wind and storms. We've already seen one dragon in the series, Kaido, unleash incredibly powerful wind attacks, so it's plausible that another dragon could possess similar abilities. This brings us to the connection with Luffy all the way back in chapter 2. If everything that we've discussed so far is accurate and Dragon is the man marked by flames, then it's likely that he was personally responsible for creating the whirlpool that had engulfed Luffy's ship at the start of the series. I believe that he did this to save Luffy from someone. We know that Dragon had the capability to do this, especially since he was in the East Blue and later intervened to save Luffy again in Logtown. But why did he end up doing this, and who was he saving Luffy from? The answer becomes apparent when you consider who would be strongly opposed to Luffy setting sail to become the Pirate King, as well as someone who would be aware of his intentions. Monkey D. Garp, the grandfather of another grandson who did the same thing 3 years earlier, is the most likely individual who Dragon was saving Luffy from. He would have wanted to stop Luffy before he had started, preventing him from gaining infamy as well as continuing to persuade Luffy to become a marine. Now, given that Ace had already become a notorious pirate with the Whitebeard Pirates, it's unlikely that Garp would have wanted to risk the same fate for Luffy. Now, since Garp was in the East Blue as shown in a cover story where he apprehends Axe-Hand Morgan shortly after his defeat, he would have had his ship ready to intercept Luffy nearby before he had reached his first island after his departure from Dawn Island. However, Dragon wouldn't have allowed this, as he says in his speech at Logtown to Smoker. What reason do you have for preventing a man from setting sail. Dragon appears content with his son's ambition to become the Pirate King, and he is willing to intervene at least at the start of Luffy's journey to ensure that he gets a fair chance. So before Garp has the opportunity to stop Luffy and to send him back to Dawn Island, Dragon ensures that a whirlpool appears, forcing Luffy to an island away from Garp's path, saving his son without him ever realizing. Dragon's intervention was so subtle and brilliant that even the audience was completely unaware of it until 25 years after the fact and over 1,000 chapters later. This demonstrates the true genius of the leader of the Revolutionary Army, as well as the foreshadowing that Oda carefully places into his story. Now, if you've enjoyed this theory of Dragon having saved Luffy in chapter 2 of the manga, then definitely let me know by leaving a comment under this video. Do you agree with me by assuming that Dragon is the man marked by flames? Or do you think that it is someone else entirely? Be sure to continue the discussion in the comments, and lastly, thank you for making it to the end of this One Piece video, and I can't wait to see you in my next one.
If you enjoy my content, then you can support my channel through Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or even through YouTube by becoming a channel member. You will gain access to exclusive channel perks and a Discord server which I frequently use. So become a member of my Zero Division and be the first to know about my upcoming videos. And once again, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.